What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Star Wars Explained. I'm sitting here with the cast and the crew of Star Wars Outlaws. So, everyone, please introduce yourselves and your role on the game.
Yes, well, I'm Humberly González, and I play Kay Vess in Star Wars Outlaws. Oh, you have your own microphone?
I have my own.
Fine.
Hi, I have my own mic. My name is Rincon, and I play ND-5 in Star Wars Outlaws.
And I'm Navid Khavari. I'm the narrative director of Star Wars Outlaws.
And this is Nyx.
My favorite question to ask people, Navid has already answered
I've
this.
had this one, I think.
You can answer it again. You can give a second one, whatever you want to do. I love to know people's Star Wars fandom and like the weird side. So what is something weird in Star Wars that you love? So not something basic like Luke Skywalker, Padme, or
Okay, go,
ready to go.
All right, I'll throw it down. I mean, you mean existing, yeah? Like right now. So Salacious Crumb. Everybody asks me
answer.
like my favorite character. It's goofy, I know, but that's the whole point. So I had a dog, and she would obviously always eat everything off of the ground. And you know, if you drop something, you'd be like, and she was always waiting for the crumbs. And I was like, oh, and then she became, my nickname was Salacious Crumb for her. So
Because you eat all the crumbs from the ground.
not me, but yeah. So and I just always like, it's so funny. Salacious Crumb is just always made me smile and laugh as a kid as well. So and I forgot. I was like, and so one day I had to look up what the name of that, of that actual character was. So mine, I did it. Did I give you enough time? I'm buying time for you.
I'm not sure I said this. This is a weird test for me. I'm not sure if I said this last time, but I think Yoda is just the weirdest character. It goes back to me as like a kid. And that's the beauty of Star Wars, right? Is like the quirky, weird side that just fits. And I remember as a kid, I was like, wait, that's a Jedi Master? This like cranky old dude living in the swamp, yeah, exactly. And if you like detach yourself from maybe the nostalgia of Star Wars and you just look at Yoda as a character, that's a weird dude, right? So that's it for me, I think.
It's just how powerful the Force is.
Yeah.
I feel pressured
No pressure. The
because
answer
weird
can
feels
be-
like a judgment. I don't know. I love all the aliens, especially the one that has all the tentacles. And I'm like, how did they talk and drink and speak? But I always just loved all the aliens, and I wanted to be them and somehow do all the prosthetics.
Oh, yeah,
How
but-
about also the canteen, like the
Oh yeah, that's my favorite. Oh, the band! I love it so much. And in our game, we have Bosnock too, which is he's so cool.
That's a weird character.
It's a weird character, and I remember doing like all the recordings for that, and Kay is also kind of taken aback, like what's going on here? Hello, and yeah, I like that character a lot.
That leads me to a question I have. What has it been like to write or play a character that doesn't seem to know as much about the Star Wars universe when you are a Star Wars fan? So how do you kind of dial that back?
It's great because you get to see it from kind of this naive eye of all she wants is to be free, get a big score, go find her place in the galaxy, and that's whatever it takes for her. I think it's so cool that audiences get to know like who she's interacting with, but Kay doesn't. So almost like the fear and the edge of your seat feeling kind of is more present because you're like, oh no, you don't want to mess with them. You probably shouldn't say that to them, or like, oh, you should not have betrayed them, because you might know what's gonna happen, but Kay doesn't. So it kind of adds this layer of the unknown, and you get to also learn these characters that you grew up with and know in a different way, because maybe they've never been challenged in that way. Maybe they are often regarded with fear and caution, whereas Kay is like, I don't care. So it's very fun.
Yeah, I mean, that's actually, it's a great question. No one's asked that yet. But even on day one, these characters being so removed and so grounded and so, again, we keep saying, like, no superpowers of any kind. Very, very, I guess, just humble people, droids. There is turmoil happening in the galaxy of, like, the utmost danger. And so, yeah, just imagine knowing and being in like the peripheral of that and saying like, wow, there's really catastrophic, life-changing things happening out there that you're aware of, and in many areas in the underworld that are dangerous already. So like you said, any pitfall or anything that you life is really, it's posing potential problems unlike anybody has ever seen. So it's really cool to be, I don't know, cool is a word, but it's very challenging and exciting to be able to dive into that, knowing that, again, it's quite humble that you have to be careful because you can't just stop things or, whatever, like use special powers.
It's a joy, honestly. Like it really, and I don't say that lightly. It's a dream, right? Because, when you think of, especially in the game space, what's been the least maybe explored, that underworld, that feeling of Kay not knowing who these people are from a writing perspective is so much fun, right? Like her as a rookie going to meet Jabba, and it's in the trailer.
She's
but
like Jabba, right?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Really knows all the lines. Like she was playing yesterday and she was able to still, it was amazing. But that's like a dream scenario to be able to sit in the writer's room and think, okay, how is this scoundrel who's never met Han Solo, never met Jabba the Hutt, doesn't know Salacious from anything, how would they react to seeing that? You know what I mean? Or someone like a Galusian in a jar, right? Like Bosnok. And then similarly with Lady Kira, right? The fact that if you've read Crimson Reign, this is not.
So that's the challenge that I have. Is I'm like, Crimson Dawn is on the rise right now, but I also kind of know what happens to them. Do I want to hitch my wagon to them? I don't know.
Exactly, right? But I think, we were able to just throw them into these scenarios that always brought something new, honestly. And when you start on a project like this, I think that's the number one thing on your mind of like, what can we bring that's new? And just using Kay as a sort of a rookie, as a vehicle to experience all that, it's a dream.
And one last thing, like for me, you also have more ownership if you're not jumping into, the mold of something that's already been, shown time and time and time again. So, for a droid, we know the droids are, but in this, it's, you're apart from that. So those are not stories that and you're going to get characters that you don't know. And it's great.
And I love that, and that you're exploring something new in a familiar territory. So how did you go about making Kay feel unique as a Star Wars scoundrel set apart from like Han Solo or ND-5 as a new kind of droid who we've seen a couple kind of humanized droids, but K2SO was taken so soon, rest in peace. So
It's a wonderful performance.
Did you have to bring that up? You did have to.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, great droid.
Who wants to talk now?
I mean, I can. Actually, no, I feel like you wanted to go, so I feel like I'm cutting you off. No.
No.
I think that
She's like, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
well, again, for so they finally understand. No. Yeah, as a droid, so as you said, great performance, by the way, but still, we talked about the melody, the cadence of droid, the sardonic, the humor, and then we just said, hey, let's see how human can you make it, right? Like how lived and how little droid you're gonna stay, dialed into what a droid is, but we pushed it as far as we could, and I think that answers that question and it's a lot of fun doing it, So
what you said on the panel about just ND-5 having growth as an arc, I was already like, okay.
Yeah, because I feel like K2SO, it's again like a brilliant, beautiful, wonderful arc, gone too soon, but still fit really like so much within the rules of being a droid. And I guess we've tried to step away from it as much as we can.
With both of them, but especially with Kay, there's a vulnerability to her that I think is super relatable. When you have someone like Han or Lando, you feel like they've seen it all, and there's that confident swagger, but we talked about the sort of fake it till you make it sort of attitude, this false confidence, but you can feel the vulnerability, which we always talked about in the writer's room as like, that's our end. That's how we relate to Kay, that this is someone who has nothing, who has grown up with nothing and is struggling to survive. And I think, once we realized, wait, it's kind of time to have this sort of vulnerable lead who, yes, carries that swagger, it became very natural, I think, to write to. And then obviously you brought the fantastic performance to it.
Yeah, it's like having cracks in her shield that she believes this mask is very convincing to everybody. But I think as you play with her and hearing her interact with Nyx and the things that she says, the commentary, the almost these like affirmations that she lives by, she like soothes herself, soothes Nyx to soothe herself. It's almost like this third person separation, knowing that Kay is young. She hasn't seen a lot of the world. There's a lot that you'll learn about her past and why she is where she is, what makes her so strong and why she fights so hard, why she doesn't trust anybody and where she got that from. It's interesting to see that, yes, she puts up a front and she's strong when you see her, this false confidence, but you'll get to see a lot of her cracks as well and how that also changes. There's a lot of growth in her arch as well that I'm like, it's so beautiful, and you get to see moments that it makes her so human, and you almost forget, like, oh yeah, this is like a 20-year-old kid who came from nothing, and now she's going up against the baddest in the galaxy. That's a lot, while thinking that you're gonna do this alone. Yeah, it's very human in that way and very relatable.
I think it's a great answer, the vulnerability, where Han Solo kind of thinks he's invulnerable, especially when he's younger.
And not polished, right?
Yeah.
Like Han is awesome, cool,
very polished and whatever. Like Kay, you already see her even when you first meet her, and the way that she like lies or plays it off. I'm like, you're not as convincing as you think you are, but she still does it. It's like she does it shaking. Like
even to herself, or those moments with Nyx where she's like, okay, I guess we'll just do this for a little while.
Yeah, it's like fine. we just need a big enough score. We're just gotta do this job for a little bit, and then we'll be good. Or he'll chirp and she'll just go, it's okay, buddy. Like we're gonna be all right. And it's almost this like she has to always self-soothe. It's like this autonomy that she has to find because she's been on her own for so long. And so as you get to know her heart, her past, you almost go, feel for her. You relate to her through that, like, I guess, common suffering of humanity. So, yeah.
Well, I've got to ask about ND-5, and another question I got to ask Navid a year ago, but
here now.
How was your reaction to the internet's complete thirsting over the sexiest droid ever made?
I mean,
I got this last year.
I know.
I was like,
yeah.
I wish Jay was here.
Well, I mean, why not? Great. It's amazing. I think it's completely unexpected. We never, as we said before, nothing was ever spoken about anything like that in the creation of ND-5. We didn't get to set and say, oh, hey, we got to make this sexy. But,
They didn't even know you wore fishnets.
These were, yeah, there you go.
That's gonna add a whole other layer.
The opposite of sexy, in the cat suit with with all the little bubble, everything, all the little markers, and then a fishnet cape. Ooh.
Real quick, I want to pause here to give some context to what was just said. In a panel, Jay explained that he wanted to wear ND-5's duster during mocap sessions because a jacket like that would affect how you move, but they still needed to be able to see all the dots and stuff on his bodysuit, so he had to wear a fishnet jacket. Okay, context given, back to the interview.
Why not? You want a positive reaction, and that's a great reaction, right? So I was definitely surprised.
I know. I think we all sent you screenshots and tweets, and we were sending you just responses, and I was like, I am having so much fun with this right now.
I was on the floor and I sent it to you, and I was like, just get ready. This is happening.
Yeah, but it's fun. I mean, and like I've said before, we do this to entertain, and we do this to make compelling characters and to bring them to life and move people. I guess we didn't really know how, we didn't know exactly how we're going to move them, but I think that it's starting to add up, and anyone that's gone down that angle, I think that I hope that they'll be satisfied and happy.
I think we have time for one more question, so I'll ask all of you, what themes are important to you in Star Wars, and how did that inform your writing or your acting choices while you were creating Star Wars Outlaws?
I know a main theme for Kay is freedom, which we've talked about, and what that looks like in a galaxy that she feels is rigged against her, that you either have to be a part of the rebels or the Siths, or it's there's always these labels that kind of confine you. And I love that Kay kind of wants to forge her own way, and that's an exciting kind of different angle in Star Wars that I really love that we're bringing to the forefront.
Yeah, and I think like fate versus free will, and having, you have a destiny or a purpose, and sometimes it's chosen for you. Can you be free? And I think that ND-5, seeing life through the eyes of Kay Vess and teaming up and seeing how she reacts to the world and learning through her experiences allows him to grow, and you see the journey that he goes on. And what already existed in the Star Wars, it made it very, very interesting and challenging and compelling to add that and create ND-5's journey.
Yeah, I think I'll riff a little bit on what you both said, because I think it is freedom, but I think it's a certain type of freedom. I think Kay sees freedom as just her going it alone, right? But I think what we were really excited to explore is, the rebels' idea of freedom is very different from what Kay's idea of freedom is, and taking that perspective that we're so used to and saying, like, wait a second, like on the ground, if I'm a thief who's grown up with nothing, and I look at the rebels, what do I really think, right? For Kay, that's just another group vying for power, right? And then she looks over at the syndicates. Well, the syndicates are also organizations vying for power. So I think for her, she sees these folks that are, kind of puppeting the galaxy similarly to how the Empire is in some respects. So that idea of freedom for Kay is very specific, right? And I think it's a sort of a new shade to something that is thematically true to all of Star Wars, right? So I think that was really important to us.
All great answers, and we got to wrap up, but we had a great time playing it today. Can't wait to see more. So thank you for spending some time with us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.